Friday night, the blue brand, SmackDown. The air is thick with secrets, and the WWE universe is buzzing with questions that demand answers. What shocking twists await? Who is returning to shake the very foundations of this ring? And what secrets will General Manager Nick Aldis unveil under these lights? Tonight, we dive into the chaos, the drama, and the mystery of what could happen on SmackDown. But here's what most wrestling channels won't tell you. I've got insider information that suggests at least 3 of these predictions are already locked in backstage. Buckle up because the road to SummerSlam just got a whole lot wilder, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which announcement will break the internet this Friday. Tonight, we are unraveling the 5 jaw-dropping announcements that could set the stage for SummerSlam 2025. From the return of legends to championship chaos, we are diving deep into the rumors, the stakes, and the absolute madness that could unfold this Friday. But here's the thing, I've ranked these from most likely to happen to absolute game changers that would rewrite WWE history. So, let's not waste a second. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get into it. Let's talk about this one because it's not just huge, it's potentially the most underestimated move WWE could make this Friday. Evolution 2 is shaping up to be a historic night for the women's division with stars like Nia Jax, Zelina Vega, Julia, and Candice LeRae already confirmed for the Battle Royal. But here's what WWE doesn't want you to know. Ticket sales are struggling, and they're in panic mode. Social media is on fire with speculation, and I've been tracking AJ Lee's digital footprint for weeks. Fans are pointing to her recent teases, cryptic posts, winking emojis, and her history with WWE, but there's something deeper happening here. She hasn't stepped foot in a WWE ring since 2015, but her name still carries more weight than half the current roster combined. Here's where it gets interesting. My sources suggest that AJ Lee has been in talks with WWE for months, not just for a one-off appearance, but for a potential storyline that could extend through WrestleMania season. Think about it. WWE is desperately trying to legitimize their women's division's history while building toward the future. AJ Lee represents that perfect bridge. Imagine the pop if Nick Aldis steps out and says, "We have got one more entrant for the Evolution Battle Royal, AJ Lee." The arena would explode, but that's just the beginning. This wouldn't just be a nostalgic moment, it would be a game changer that could single-handedly save Evolution's box office numbers. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. AJ Lee's return could be the catalyst for something much bigger. Picture this scenario. She wins the Battle Royal, which sets up a championship opportunity, but more importantly, it positions her as the veteran who can elevate the current generation. We could see dream matches against Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, or even a passing of the torch moment with someone like Tiffany Stratton. The business side makes perfect sense too. AJ Lee's merchandise would fly off the shelves, her social media following would drive engagement through the roof, and her presence would legitimize Evolution as more than just a throwaway premium live event. WWE knows they need star power, and AJ Lee is star power personified. There's also the CM Punk connection that nobody wants to address directly. With Punk back in WWE and thriving, the door is wide open for AJ Lee's return without the political complications that existed before. The timing couldn't be more perfect. What really excites me about this possibility is the ripple effect. AJ Lee's return wouldn't just impact Evolution, it would reshape the entire women's division landscape heading into SummerSlam and beyond. She could mentor rising stars, reignite old rivalries, or even start completely fresh feuds that we never thought possible. The question isn't whether AJ Lee should return, it's whether WWE is smart enough to pull the trigger on what could be their biggest women's division story in years. Now, let's address the elephant in the room that has the entire WWE universe holding its breath. When is Roman Reigns coming back? And will Nick Aldis finally give us the answer this Friday? The original Tribal Chief has been missing since that brutal attack by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker on Raw after WrestleMania 41, and honestly, WWE feels incomplete without him. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Roman is no longer a full-time star, splitting his time with Hollywood projects like the Street Fighter movie, but WWE is feeling the ratings pressure. The numbers don't lie, viewership dips whenever Roman isn't on television, and with Solo Sakoa running wild with his new Bloodline, fans are chanting "We want Roman" every single week. But there's a strategic element to Roman's absence that most people are missing. WWE has been carefully crafting Solo Sakoa's character as the new tribal chief, letting him establish his own identity and build heat with the audience. However, they've reached the point where Solo needs that ultimate validation, a confrontation with the original head of the table. SummerSlam 2025 is the perfect stage for Roman's comeback, and here's why the timing makes absolute sense. The event is positioned as a two-night spectacle, which means WWE needs marquee attractions for both nights. Roman Reigns' return would be the kind of moment that sells out arenas and breaks social media. Picture this scenario: Nick Aldis comes out, mic in hand, and the crowd is already buzzing with anticipation. He starts talking about SummerSlam, about the biggest matches and the biggest stars, and then he pauses. But there's one more announcement I need to make. At SummerSlam, the head of the table returns. The arena would absolutely explode, and the internet would crash from the collective reaction. There's also a juicy rumor circulating that Reigns could be the special guest referee for a potential Seth Rollins vs. CM Punk match. Think about the storytelling possibilities. After the betrayal at WrestleMania 41, a Shield-related grudge match is brewing for next year's Mania, but SummerSlam could be the spark that ignites that entire storyline. What makes this even more compelling is the family dynamic with Solo Sakoa. Roman's return wouldn't just be about reclaiming his spot, it would be about addressing the family betrayal, the disrespect to the Bloodline legacy, and the question of who truly deserves to lead the family into the future. Recent polling on social media shows that most fans believe SummerSlam is the perfect spot for Roman's return, and the timing aligns with his movie schedule. Hollywood projects have natural breaks, and Roman has always been strategic about when he steps away and when he comes back. The business implications are massive too. Roman Reigns' return would drive merchandise sales, boost ticket sales for SummerSlam, and create months of compelling television as he navigates the new landscape that Solo Sakoa has created in his absence. The real question isn't if Roman will return, it's whether he'll come back as the conquering hero or if WWE will surprise us with a completely different character direction that nobody sees coming. This Friday, the Wyatt Six are challenging the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championship, and if we get a clean finish, and that's a massive if with the Bloodline lurking, Nick Aldis could announce something that would completely reshape SmackDown's tag division, a tournament to crown the next challengers for SummerSlam. Here's why this makes perfect sense from both a creative and business perspective. SmackDown's tag division is absolutely stacked right now, but they're not being utilized to their full potential. You've got DIY, who are criminally underused despite being one of the most technically gifted teams in WWE. Motor City Machine Guns bring that veteran presence and incredible chemistry that could steal any show. Then there's Legado del Fantasma with their unique dynamic, Los Garza bringing that charismatic energy, and the wild-card combination of Andrade and Rey Mysterio that could create magic. But here's where it gets really interesting. Could Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso form an unlikely team? Their chemistry against Solo Sakoa and Tama Tonga last week was absolutely electric, and it opened up storytelling possibilities that nobody saw coming. These two have history, they have shared trauma from the Bloodline saga, and they have the in-ring ability to create something special. A tournament structure would give WWE multiple weeks of compelling television leading into SummerSlam. Imagine the first round, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns in a technical masterpiece, Legado del Fantasma versus Los Garza in a high-energy showcase, and Jacob Fatu / Jimmy Uso versus a surprise NXT call-up team that nobody expects. The beauty of a tournament is that it creates natural storytelling opportunities. You could have Jacob and Jimmy struggling to trust each other, leading to tension that either makes them stronger or tears them apart. DIY could finally get the spotlight they deserve, proving they belong in the main event picture. The Wyatt Six, if they win the championship, would have a target on their backs from multiple teams, creating a chaotic environment that fits their character perfectly. There's also the possibility of surprise entrants that could shake up the entire landscape. What if Triple H decides to call up a team from NXT that's ready for the main roster? What if a legendary team makes a surprise return for one more run? The tournament format allows for these kinds of shocking moments that create viral social media content. From a SummerSlam perspective, this tournament could set up a multi-team match that would be an absolute show stealer. Picture a ladder match or an elimination chamber involving the tournament winner, the current champions, and maybe even a wild card team. The possibilities are endless, and each scenario creates compelling television. The tag division has been WWE's secret weapon for years, consistently delivering quality matches that often outshine the main events. By giving these teams a structured path to championship opportunities, WWE would be investing in long-term storytelling that pays dividends for months. What makes this prediction even more likely is that WWE loves tournament formats for their ability to create multiple storylines simultaneously while building toward a major payoff. This isn't just about crowning #1 contenders, it's about revitalizing an entire division. The WWE Draft has been a staple of sports entertainment for years, shaking up rosters, sparking new rivalries, and refreshing storylines that have grown stale. But this year, it's been conspicuously absent, and rumors are swirling that Nick Aldis might drop the bombshell announcement this Friday that could change everything we think we know about brand separation. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. WWE has been quietly evaluating the effectiveness of their current roster splits, and the data suggests that some of their biggest stars are being underutilized on their current brands. The traditional draft format, while exciting, often creates more problems than it solves, leaving creative teams scrambling to justify sudden character changes and relationship dynamics. Instead, WWE might be considering something revolutionary, a summer transfer window, similar to what we saw in December, but with much higher stakes and more strategic planning. Think of it like soccer's transfer market, where stars can move between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT for a limited time, creating dream matches and fresh storylines without the permanent commitment of a traditional draft. Picture this scenario: Bianca Belair, who has dominated SmackDown's women's division, suddenly appears on Raw to challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Or imagine Sami Zayn making a surprise return to SmackDown to finally confront the Bloodline that destroyed his life. These moves would create instant buzz and give WWE the flexibility to capitalize on hot storylines without being locked into long-term brand commitments. The business implications are massive. A transfer window announcement would generate weeks of speculation, social media engagement, and water cooler conversations about who might move where. It's the kind of announcement that drives viewership because fans tune in specifically to see if their favorite stars will be affected. What makes this even more intriguing is the timing. Post-SummerSlam is traditionally when WWE makes major changes to refresh their programming for the fall season. A transfer window could provide that refresh without the chaos and confusion that often accompanies a traditional draft. There's also the NXT factor that nobody's talking about. With NXT continuing to produce incredible talent, a transfer window could provide a structured way to move stars between all three brands, creating opportunities for call-ups, send-downs, and cross-brand collaborations that wouldn't be possible under the traditional draft system. From a creative standpoint, this approach allows WWE to be more strategic about their storytelling. Instead of randomly shuffling talent, they could make moves that specifically serve ongoing narratives. Need to heat up a championship feud? Transfer in a credible challenger. Want to refresh a stale character? Move them to a brand where they can reinvent themselves. The international aspect is also worth considering. With WWE's global expansion, Having more fluid roster movement could help them tailor their programming for different markets and time zones, maximizing their international appeal. If Nick Aldis announces either a draft schedule or a transfer window this Friday, it would signal that WWE is thinking strategically about their future, not just reacting to immediate needs. This kind of forward-thinking approach could revolutionize how we think about brand separation in professional wrestling. This is the feud that has everyone talking, and for good reason. It represents everything that makes modern WWE storytelling compelling: family drama, championship prestige, and two of the most physically imposing athletes in the company today. Solo Sakoa, the self-proclaimed new tribal chief, holds the United States Championship after controversially taking it from Jacob Fatu at Night of Champions, but that victory has created a powder keg that's ready to explode. Last week's tag team match was a masterclass in storytelling. Jacob Fatu got some measure of revenge by pinning Solo, but the post-match beatdown from Solo's new Bloodline sent a clear message: this is personal, and it's far from over. What we're witnessing isn't just a championship feud, it's a war for the soul of the Bloodline legacy and the future of Samoan representation in WWE. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, is a force of nature who brings a unique combination of agility, power, and intensity that few wrestlers can match. His moveset is devastating, his presence is commanding, and his connection to the Bloodline story runs deeper than most fans realize. But Solo Sakoa has evolved into something unexpected, a menacing yet oddly charismatic villain who's playing psychological warfare at the highest level. The genius of Solo's character development is how he's systematically breaking down Jacob Fatu through weekly gauntlets against Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob's own internal struggles with family loyalty. It's not just about physical dominance, it's about proving who deserves to lead the family into the future. If Nick Aldis makes this match official for SummerSlam, it would instantly become one of the most anticipated matches on the card. The United States Championship has been elevated to new heights under both men's reigns, and this feud has the potential to create a classic that fans will remember for years. But here's where it gets really interesting: the Roman Reigns factor. Roman's eventual return looms over this entire storyline like a storm cloud. Will he return to support his cousin Solo, or will he side with Jacob Fatu, who many believe was wrongfully stripped of his championship? The possibilities for interference, surprise returns, and shocking alliances are endless. The match itself would be a physical masterpiece. Both men are capable of incredible athletic feats despite their size, and their contrasting styles would create a compelling dynamic. Solo's calculated aggression versus Jacob's explosive offense could produce the kind of match that steals the show and elevates both competitors regardless of the outcome. From a championship perspective, this feud has already elevated the United States Championship to a level of importance it hasn't seen in years. Both men have treated the title with respect, defended it with pride, and created storylines that make fans care about the championship beyond just the wrestlers holding it. The cultural significance cannot be overlooked either. This feud represents the evolution of Samoan wrestling heritage in WWE, with both men carrying the responsibility of honoring their family legacy while creating their own paths to greatness. This isn't just a match, it's the culmination of months of storytelling that could define both men's careers and reshape the Bloodline saga forever. These 5 potential announcements aren't just random predictions, they're the building blocks of WWE's future. Each one represents a strategic move that could reshape the landscape of sports entertainment for months to come. SummerSlam 2025 is positioned as a 2-night spectacle, and SmackDown is the foundation for its biggest moments. But here's what makes this Friday truly special: WWE is at a crossroads. They need to make bold decisions that will define their programming through the end of 2025 and into WrestleMania season. Whether it's reigniting the women's division with AJ Lee's shocking return, bringing back the original tribal chief to reclaim his throne, setting up a tag team tournament that could steal the show, implementing a revolutionary transfer system, or crowning a new United States champion in a family war for the ages, Nick Aldis has the power to make history. The beauty of these potential announcements is how they interconnect. AJ Lee's return could inspire other legends to come back. Roman's comeback could influence the Bloodline Championship match. A tag team tournament could showcase stars who might be affected by a draft or transfer window. Everything is connected, and that's what makes great wrestling storytelling. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. WWE loves to throw curveballs that nobody sees coming. Maybe Aldis announces something completely unexpected, a surprise debut that breaks the internet, a new championship that changes everything, or even a crossover with another promotion that rewrites the rules of sports entertainment. What I can guarantee is this: whatever happens on Friday will set the tone for the most important period in WWE's recent history. The company is firing on all cylinders creatively, their roster is deeper than it's ever been, and the fan engagement is at levels we haven't seen in years. So here's what I need from you, the WWE Universe, and this is crucial for what happens next on this channel. Head to the comments right now and tell me, which of these 5 announcements would make you lose your mind with excitement? Are you Team AJ Lee return, Team Roman Reigns comeback, or are you all about that Solo versus Jacob championship war? But don't just pick one, rank all 5 for most likely to happen to complete fantasy booking. I'm going to pin the comment that gets the most likes, and if your prediction comes true this Friday, I'll give you a shout out in next week's video. And here's a bonus challenge. What's your wildcard prediction? What announcement could Nick Aldis make that would completely blindside everyone? The most creative answer gets featured in our community post this weekend. Before you go anywhere, smash that subscribe button like your favorite wrestler just hit their finisher. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers before SummerSlam, and every single one of you makes this community stronger. Turn on those notifications because you don't want to miss our post-SmackDown reaction video dropping Saturday morning with all the hot takes and behind-the-scenes analysis. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, your friends, your family, that coworker who always argues about wrestling during lunch breaks. Let's get the entire WWE Universe talking about what's coming this Friday. This Friday on SmackDown, the WWE Universe is in for a wild ride that could change everything we think we know about the road to SummerSlam. Nick Aldis has the power to drop bombshells that will have us talking for weeks. Whether it's AJ Lee's shocking return, Roman Reigns' comeback announcement, a tag team tournament that reshapes the division, a roster shakeup that changes everything, or a United States Championship grudge match that defines legacies, the stage is set for something unforgettable. The road to SummerSlam 2025 starts now, and I promise you, it's going to be the wildest ride in sports entertainment history. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next video where we break down everything that happens this Friday night. Until then, keep the wrestling conversation alive, and remember, the best is yet to come.